welcome to the GHI. Today we're going to make a very speedy supper dish, and it's Thai style mussels. And the star ingredient of this dish is obviously the mussels. I've got 2 kilos here of them, and there are a few tests and a bit of cleaning you need to do before you start with the supper. The biggest test is to see whether they still actually close. So if you think about it, the mussel is actually still a live mussel that is clamping itself together, holding the shell shut. And you need to make sure your mussels are still alive before you start cooking them, to make sure they're totally fresh and free from any bugs that might get in there. The quickest way to do this is to get them in a colander. So move them all around, and it's the actual movement and the mussels knocking against each other will cause the mussel to shut, and that's the test to see whether they're fresh. And if you can see here, I've got a few little ones that you can test to see whether they're still closing. If they don't close, don't risk it, just get rid of them. So you can see that one's totally shut again, so he's fine for the pot. And these fellows are not closing, which means unfortunately the mussels inside are dead. Now with mussels you have to be careful because they do carry infection and they can grow quite quickly. So I would say always use your shellfish within 24 hours of buying it, and do check every time before cooking. The other thing you'll find on your mussels is that they can have some loose hairs and what's called as beards attached to them. These are these little lines that are attached in the middle of the mussel. They're just kind of almost seaweed-esque, and all you have to do is give them a tough pull and they'll come out. And any barnacles or trails you can see on them, it depends how fussy you are. You can clean them off or you can leave them on because everything will get cooked anyway in the hot pan. So 2 kilograms of live fresh mussels there. I've got 3 finely chopped shallots, 1 lemongrass stalk which has been finely chopped, and it's this lemongrass that really infuses the dish with the Thai flavour. 1 red chilli finely sliced. You can always up it if you prefer a more spicy version. We've got 165 ml of coconut milk and 150 millilitres of white wine, and some limes and coriander to finish. So get yourself a large deep pan that you know will fit all your mussels, and it needs a close fitting lid. I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there, and then we very quickly start the cooking. So in go the shallots, the lemongrass and the chilli. It's over high heat and they'll need about 3 minutes just to get those flavours mingling. So the chilli, shallot and lemongrass have had about 3 or 4 minutes, and they're just beginning to caramelise slightly around the edges, and you know that's the time when to add your wine. It's always good when you're flavouring dishes with wine to leave it to actually reduce for a bit by itself before adding any other liquid, because then you'll get the most out of the flavour of the wine. So that goes in and bubbles down for a couple of minutes before you add your coconut milk. So I've just added the coconut milk into the pan. And I'm also going to add a little bit of seasoning at this stage, because it's better to season little and often than lots at the end, because you'll actually get a better depth of flavour in the dish. So what we're waiting for is for the coconut milk to get piping hot, and so it makes the perfect place to add the mussels to. So that'll be a couple of minutes. Now in go the mussels into this piping hot liquid, and then put on a lid and give them a good shake, just to get all the juices into them. The lid will help infuse the mussel meat with lots of the flavour, and it actually helps the mussels to cook faster. Leave them for a couple of minutes and then give them a good shake, and then have a look and see if they've opened up yet. What you're looking for is any mussels that have sprung open, any that stay closed after they're fully cooked. Discard them as well. Right, so the mussels have had about 3 minutes with a bit of shaking in between. And they are all opened up and the liquid is still bubbling furiously, so it's time to serve. So grab yourself a ladle, spoon the mussels in. If you notice any at this stage which haven't opened, then it is really safest to get rid of them. So once you have a nice amount of mussels in there, just spoon over some liquid. Snip over some fresh coriander, and serve with a squeeze of lime. And there you have it, Thai style mussels.